Welcome back. Two households lose 25% of their income. One household experiences stress but remains financially stable. The other experiences a near financial collapse. Same economy, same income shock, completely different outcome. Why? Because financial resilience is not determined by income alone, it's determined by structure, as was illustrated in the last video. In this video, we build the personal contribution statement by classifying the costs into the variable, fixed, and mixed components. And today we're going to use that framework. We'll stress test two different lifestyles and observe what happens when income falls. At the end of the video, we'll calculate a very, very important metric called degree of lifestyle leverage. This is a measurement of how sensitive your financial flexibility is to changes in income. Contribution analysis is really about one thing: financial flexibility. Some lifestyles are structurally flexible, others are structurally rigid. And during economic stress, that difference matters enormously. Today we'll compare two households: a high-income mansion lifestyle and a low-income trailer lifestyle. In both cases, one partner loses their job, takes on part-time work, and total household income falls to 75% of its original amount. We'll then adjust the variable costs realistically, observe which costs remain fixed, and analyze how each structure responds. And remember, for this analysis, we are excluding interest expense, financing costs, investment activity, and financing-related taxes because we want to isolate the economics of daily living itself. So let's begin with the first household, the mansion lifestyle. This household earns a high income, owns a large home, finances luxury vehicles, and has significant recurring obligations. At first glance, this household appears extremely financially successful, but contribution analysis allows us to look beneath the surface. All right, so now we have our contribution statement in a side-by-side comparison with our stress scenario. Now, if you don't know where these numbers come from, then you'll need to check out not just the past video, but the whole creation of the net income statement and the cost of or the chart of accounts rather from season 1 outlines how we get all of these different values. So make sure that you go back and you check those videos out if you want to be able to check your own situation out. But in this case scenario, we have baseline income of $16,000. We have our variable costs, including the variable component of our mixed costs in our total variable cost section, which is $6,700. We have our fixed costs, which includes the fixed portion of the mixed costs in our fixed cost section. And we can see the contribution analysis at the bottom of the table. The total income minus the variable costs gives us our contribution margin of $9,300. When we subtract our total fixed costs from this scenario, the net income before our financing costs is $900. Now, if we wanted to stress test this and say one person, and we're going to assume that both make the same income, one person loses their job, so that goes down by $8,000, and then they pick up part-time work and they add $4,000 per month, then we have a $12,000 income scenario. In that scenario, the family would reduce their variable costs, and so we see that there's a significant drop from $6,700 to $3,480. The fixed costs all stay the same in both scenarios. So when we get down to the bottom contribution analysis, we can see $12,000 minus the $3,480, which is now lower and revised, is equal to a contribution margin of $8,520. We still subtract the same amount of fixed costs from this, and we get $120. So we can see clearly what the difference is. And when you have a contribution statement, this is the power of it. You can run different types of stress test scenarios and change the expenses to what is realistic for your scenario. Now compare that to the trailer lifestyle. This household earns less income, but it has much lower fixed obligations. lower housing costs, lower vehicle costs, lower insurance, lower monthly commitments. It may not look impressive from the outside, but structurally it is much more flexible. So here we have the contribution statement, baseline, and stress scenario for the trailer lifestyle. You can see that the income starts lower at $6,000 per month. We have our variable costs, which are $1,700, and a much lower total fixed cost of $2,300. If we take a look at the contribution analysis section for the baseline scenario, we have our income minus our variable costs, which gives us our contribution margin of $4,300. Subtract the fixed costs from there of $2,300, and that gives us net income before financing of $2,000. We move over to the stress scenario, and in this case, we assume both are making $3,000 per month. The one loses their job, makes 50% of what they used to make, and the total income now is $4,500. Immediately, they start cutting the variable costs. They reduce a number of these different costs and bring it down to $970. The fixed costs remain the same of $2,300. We can see that the contribution margin is impacted. It goes to $3,530 minus the fixed costs of $2,300, and we can see that net income before financing drops to $1,325. So the key point here is the net income before financing remains positive, and it drops just from the $2,000 to the $1,325 due to the cost structure that this particular lifestyle has set up or established. So now that we have built both scenarios, we can calculate the key ratio, the degree of lifestyle leverage, which measures for every 1% change in income, how much does net income before financing change? The formula used to calculate this is just in the numerator, the percentage change in net income before financing, and in the denominator, the percentage change in income. So let's walk through the mansion lifestyle calculation. In our scenario, income falls from $16,000 to $12,000. That is a 25% decline. Net income before financing falls from $900 to $120. That is, if we use our percentage change knowledge, 120 minus 900 over 900, 86.7%. So to calculate our degree of lifestyle leverage, we take the 86.7% in the numerator, divide that by the 25% in the denominator, and we get a degree of lifestyle leverage of 3.47. So how can we interpret this? For every 1% decline in income, the mansion lifestyle loses about 3.47% of its net income before financing. That is high lifestyle leverage. In contrast, the trailer lifestyle calculation is as follows. The income falls from $6,000 to $4,500. That is also a 25% decline. Net income before financing falls from $2,000 to $1,230. If we calculate the percentage change in that, we get $1,230 minus $2,000, which is $730, divided by 2,000, that equals 38.5%. So in this scenario, the degree of lifestyle leverage is 38.5% divided by 25%, or 1.54%. How do we interpret this? For every 1% decline in income, the trailer lifestyle loses about 1.54% of its net income before financing. Still sensitive, but much less fragile. So this is the real lesson. The mansion lifestyle had higher income, but it had less flexibility. The trailer lifestyle had lower income, but it had more resilience. Financial strength is not just about how much money comes in. It is about how much of your life is locked into fixed commitments. A high income household can be fragile, a modest income household can be resilient. The difference is structure. And now I want you to try this yourself, not theoretically, personally. Take your own chart of accounts that you would have created if you've been following since season 1 and add a new column called cost behavior. Then classify each expense as variable, mixed, or fixed. Remember, for the mixed costs, split them between the fixed portion and the variable portion, so you'll need to exercise your own discretion there. And for now, leave financing related information out of the contribution income statement. Do not include interest expense, investment income, debt repayments, or financing activities. We are isolating the economics of daily living itself. Next, build your own personal contribution statement. Start with total income, subtract your variable costs, calculate your contribution margin, then subtract fixed costs, and that gives you net income before financing. This is the amount of monthly flexibility your lifestyle actually generates. After that, you can stress test it. Ask yourself, what happens if household income falls to, say, 75% of the original level? Maybe someone loses a job, hours get cut, overtime disappears, or one income becomes part-time. Now make realistic reductions to your variable costs. Not fantasy reductions, real ones. Ask yourself, what would you actually cut? Dining out, entertainment, travel, clothing, subscriptions, discretionary spending, and importantly, what costs would not change? Because those fixed obligations are what create pressure during financial stress. Then rebuild the contribution statement using the reduced income and adjusted variable costs. And finally, calculate your own degree of lifestyle leverage. Again, this is equal to the percentage change in your net income before financing, or the bottom line of your lifestyle living, divided by the percentage change in your income as a result of the stress test scenario that you've chosen. And once you do, you'll see something most people never see clearly. Not just how much you earn, but how financially flexible your structure actually is. Because in the real world, strength is not just income, strength is adaptability, strength is flexibility, and strength is structure. Good luck.